Ladies and gentlemen, my name is XenoKilla, coming at you with another wonderful video blog. I know I haven't done one of these in forever, but, you know, I figured, why not do another one? So today we're going to talk about what it's like to get your appendix out. For those friends of mine who are watching, you know I was in the hospital about a week ago getting my appendix taken out. So I'm just going to sort of walk through the whole thing, tell some funny stories, and give some warnings about what it's like to get your appendix taken out in the hospital in an emergency. So, let's see, today is Monday, so this happened last Sunday, not yesterday, obviously, last week on Sunday. Basically, it started around 6 p.m. I was at work, actually, unfortunately. I work Sunday through Thursday. So around 6 p.m. my stomach started hurting. Now, you know, I'm a young guy, I'm in pretty good health, I work out, I lift weights, you know, get swole. You know, I've never really had too many stomach issues. No, you know, not lactose intolerant, nothing like that. So when my stomach started hurting, I was like, alright, take some Tums, take some Pepto-Bismol, walk it off. So I did that, but then around 9 o'clock, I actually started throwing up. And usually, you know, you're feeling bad, your stomach hurts, you throw up, you feel better, but I actually was feeling worse. So around 9 o'clock on Sunday night, I'm like, I gotta do something about this. So I called my doctor. Thank God I have a job and I have health insurance. So I called my doctor. Of course, it's Sunday, I get an emergency line. I call some poor guy's cell phone. I hear the football game in the background. I pick up the phone, I'm like, hey, you know, my stomach's been killing me for 3 hours. I took all this stuff, nothing's helping, I threw up, what should I do? You know, should I go to the hospital? And he's like, yeah, sure, go to the hospital, whatever, takes a beer, has some chips. Guy's not even paying attention. I'm like, fine, whatever, I'm gonna go to the hospital. So this is probably about 9:30. I, being the stoic guy that I am, I just get in the car and drive to the emergency room. You know, I know I probably should have called all of my friends and be like, oh my god, I'm going to the hospital, but it's not really my style. So I just put my hat on, got dressed, got in the car, drove to the hospital, got to the, you know, thankfully I'm like 5 minutes down the road, just walked up to the desk like, hey, stomach's hurting me, we'll get you a nurse. And I mean, I don't know exactly how to describe the pain. It wasn't like a sharp stabbing pain, it was like really bad stomach acid. It was like all over the bottom of my stomach, and I mean, it was just not getting any better. So I checked into the desk, they put me in sort of the waiting room. Thankfully, it wasn't a very busy night. About 5 minutes later, take me back to the exam room, you know, ask what medications you're on. I wasn't taking anything above, like, cholesterol medication and some thyroid medication, nothing really over the top. So, you know, I take that information, he goes out, sit there for another, I was probably there for about maybe half an hour, and I mean, it was just getting really painful. Like, I was doubled over, I was throwing up, I was on the ground, like, in the fetal position, hugging my legs. This is just unbelievably painful. So finally, the nurse comes in, takes my information, says, maybe it's the flu, nothing too crazy, but we'll put you back, we'll have the doctor look at you. So they take me, they put me in a room, I get a gown on, still throwing up. I mean, I probably threw up, once before I got to the hospital, and maybe 4 times when I was in the hospital, so I was in a pretty bad state. So they take me back into one of the rooms, I get a gown on, of course those wonderful hospital gowns. I was wearing it backwards because I was not going to have my ass hanging out, so I've got the hospital gown on. I was just lying in the bed on my side in a completely terrible state. I remember I put the TV on just for something to sort of keep my mind busy, and Spike was having a Pitch Black marathon. If you've never seen the movie, it's Vin Diesel being Vin Diesel. It's really good. It was the sequel to Chronicles of Riddick. If you've ever seen that movie, 2 very good movies. They're actually finally coming out with a sequel, which is apparently just called Riddick. I don't know exactly what it's about, but those are very good movies. I highly recommend them. So, I think I saw the doctor. I don't remember what time it was, but it was probably getting close to 11 o'clock. I finally saw the doctor. He came in, you know, gave me an exam, asked me a bunch of questions. He said, well, we're not really sure, so we'll get you a CT scan. Nurses came in. I'm like, listen, this is really causing me a lot of pain. Is there anything you can give me for the stomach being upset? Maybe something for the pain. I didn't want to walk in there. I guess I watched too much TV. I didn't walk in there and go, my stomach hurts, give me morphine. I didn't want to be that guy, but was getting pretty bad. So it was probably around 11 o'clock. They were trying to get an IV in me. And by that time, I was pretty dehydrated. So it took them probably 3 or 4 different sticks to get the IV in. I don't know, the bruises have pretty much healed on this hand, but I don't know if you can see that so well, but I've got 2 marks on that, and that's a solid week later. So that was probably the single most painful event, is they were trying to get an IV in me, but because I was so dehydrated from not being able to eat or drink anything, and the throwing up, it took them 3 tries to get the IV in me, and that was probably the single most painful part. Oh, that sucked, but the nurse was nice enough. She held my hand, so nurses out there, you're the greatest people in the world. Keep doing what you're doing, and I know you take a lot of shit from patients, but those of us, you know, I really appreciate it. I think that was probably the weirdest part for me, is that I was in just agony, and they're trying to, you know, jab needles into me, and I was just like, whatever you gotta do, you know, just hold my hand, everything will be fine. So after that, I got an abdominal CT scan, which is similar, I don't know if you've ever seen those medical shows, but where they wheel you into the big spinning thing. CT scan is computer thermography or something like that. I don't remember, but thankfully there was an emergency radiologist hanging around, so they got my results back in about 15 minutes. Doctor came in, said my appendix was inflamed and that they would have to do emergency surgery for me, but it wasn't so bad they could get to me in the morning. So I'm not sure exactly how bad it was, but this is probably around midnight. They're finally able to give me a little something to help my sleep. I think she said she gave me about 4 or 5 grams of morphine, and I'm not really sure how much morphine that is, but I was definitely feeling pretty fine after that. So after the morphine, they admitted me, they took me up. I was on the 12th floor in the hospital. They admitted me, they took me up to the room, signed a bunch of paper. At this time, you know, I'm calling my brother, I'm texting everybody, just letting them know, hey, I'm stuck in the hospital, you know, whatever. Texted my boss, because I'm like, listen, I'm not coming into work tomorrow morning, because they're going to have to go in and get me out. So it was probably around midnight, filled out a bunch of paperwork. That was on an IV drip. Just saline, some morphine, so I probably passed out around midnight. Surgery was scheduled for about 6:30 in the morning, and the good thing is when your appendix hasn't burst yet, they can actually do what's called laparoscopic surgery, where they just make 3 small holes, as opposed to having, if your appendix bursts, they kind of got to cut you wide open, go in there and clean everything up. So surgery, I think they woke me up around 5:30 or 6. Signed a bunch more paperwork. I went down to, I don't know, pre-op or whatever, outside of the operating room. I think so. Yeah, about 5. I think I woke up around 5:45. Had to sign a bunch of paperwork, you know, use the bathroom, whatever. I was downstairs around 6. I think they finally wheeled me into the OR around 6:30. Met the surgeon, met the anesthesiologist, nurses. Everybody was, you know, pretty nice to me, but I was still pretty whacked out. I had no idea what was going on at that time, so they took me in for surgery. I remember them wheeling me off of the gurney I was on onto the surgery table. You know, they tied my arms down. That was basically it. I mean, I don't remember, you know, the anesthesiologist counting down or any of that sort of thing. I just remember just going out. I remember being on the gurney, and then that's it. I was just out. So I probably because I already had the IV, and they just probably stuck me in and put me out. I do remember waking up. I'm not sure if it was before. It's kind of weird. I don't know if it was before surgery, during surgery, after surgery, or just them putting me out. But I do remember waking up. I don't remember actually seeing anything. It's kind of weird. But I remember them trying to put a mask on my mouth, and I'm like not breathing. So I tried to grab the mask. I remember grabbing somebody's arm, trying to roll off the gurney. I think I got into a fight with the surgeons and the nurses, and then I just remember going out again. So I'm not sure if that happened before the surgery or after the surgery, but that was kind of messed up. So after the surgery, I woke up in post-op. Nothing really major going on in post-op, but ice cubes. I remember my mouth being very dry, asking for ice cubes, and then they rolled me back up to the 12th floor. I'm not sure exactly how long, probably 12, I don't know, it was probably around 7 or 8 in the morning. I mean, the surgery, they said, was about 45 minutes. And again, I only have 3 small holes in my abdomen, so I don't have any big scars or anything like that. I'd show you, but nobody really wants to see that. So, they wheeled me upstairs, and, you know, I was just hanging out in my room, drinking water, eating ice cubes, and I was home. I had the surgery around 6:30 in the morning, and I was home by 4 in the afternoon. I had a friend or two stop by and visit. So recovery, I mean, it's amazing the advancements of modern medical science. If that'd be 200 years ago, I probably would have died, and it probably would have sucked all the way down. Because, there's those of you out there who understand how much it hurts, and those of you who don't quite understand how much it hurts, but it was pretty bad. Never want to deal with that again. So I had the surgery, yeah, as I said, 8 in the morning, and I was home by 4 in the afternoon. Recovery, I mean, it's a week later, and, you know, I can touch it, nothing hurts. Sutures have come out, and that was about it. I think the most annoying part is I can't lift anything heavy for 4 to 6 weeks. So, no gym, no exercising. Come on, other eyebrow. There we go. Anyway, so I can't exercise, I can't hit the weights, anything like that. I could probably do cardio, but I'm just going to hold off until I see the doctor next week. But it's the worst. It's going to be January. I'm going to get back in the gym. There's going to be 150 people there going, oh my god, I'm turning 30 and I'm fat. I got to go to the gym. And then around March or April, they'll all disappear again, and I can have the gym back to myself. It's just, I think that's the worst part, because, you know, I've been working out. I've been down about 25 pounds. I got 40 more to go until I reach my goal. But, you know, I had a rhythm going. My lifts were picking up. I was moving up in weights. And just to have to take a month off and just get fat again, it's really annoying. So I got some muffins. They actually opened up at Dunkin' Donuts here in town, so I got some muffins and some donuts. So whatever, if I got to convalesce for a little while, I might as well enjoy myself, because it's the holidays, right? So, warnings: don't ignore acute stomach pain. That might seem unusual, but I was talking to a friend of mine who also had his appendix out, and he ignored it for a couple days, and his appendix burst, and he was in a pretty sorry state, and he had to stay in the hospital a lot longer because of that. So, you know, just don't ignore something like that. I couldn't ignore it. I don't know if I'm just a giant sissy or what, but the doctor said if I hadn't come in then, I would have come in eventually. So yeah, laparoscopic appendectomy. Medical science, A-okay. Prayer, not so much. But that's just me being me. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, my name is XenoKilla's. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I will see you next time.